This episode contains explicit language that is not very good for tiny ears. So if you're with your kids, put your headphones on. Take it away, Mom and Dad. It's time for the show. Let's go.
Hello and welcome to Anatomy of Sex. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
Yo, guys, what's up? My name is Seth Studley. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and today is a Patreon free episode. If you want more of this, go to patreon.com/anatomy of us to get more stuff on sex, all the juicy stuff, if you know what I'm saying. Patreon.com/anatomy of us. But like I said, this is a free show, so thank you. And this topic is pretty funny, and if you have a vagina, listen up. Maybe I just gave it away. Did I give it away?
No. Well,
okay.
So the title of today's episode is Foreplay Saves the Day and Your Vag. And this is coming on the heels of, if you haven't heard,
You say it with such
last week's
enthusiasm.
episode. Well, you want, if you've got a vag, you want it to be saved. So last week we talked about my husband pounds it for 30 minutes and I can't take it. Right? Now, we did a
I couldn't take a 30-minute.
very thorough sort of deep dive into why is your husband pounding it for 30 minutes, but we were looking at it more from the husband side of like, does he have a medical problem? Is it medication? Is it whatever, right? A million other things. Does he look at porn all the time? So we talked about it from that perspective. And one of the things that as I've been thinking about it, because I think about the stuff we record all the time. And as I was thinking about it, I was like, wait, we didn't talk about the role of foreplay potentially within that 30-minute pounding,
Right.
or lack of foreplay, rather. And so, again, if you haven't heard last week's episode, you might want to go join Patreon to hear it.
That's a good one.
But basically what I'm getting at is that you may be earning, this sounds terrible, you may be earning yourself a 30-minute pounding because you're not engaging in foreplay and using it to your advantage.
Nice try, but no. Maybe some guys want 30-minute pounding.
No,
I know that I don't.
I don't think that that's what is happening in the scenario of the listener question. I think what is actually happening is that it's like starting your car from like it's 32 degrees out.
Yeah.
And you start the Yaris and it barely starts. And then you're like, I'm going to floor
That happened
it.
this morning.
How did it go?
Well,
when
on the
you
way to the
floored
gym,
it?
the car was cold. It's like in the low 30s here. I don't know. It's a cold snap. And it took a minute.
Did you just say it's a cold snap?
Yeah.
This is a cold snap?
This is a cold snap, the weather.
Is that a thing?
And you want to know what? I got in the river this morning. Is that something new? No, it's not, but do hard shit and you will get rewarded for it. So it's in the 30s and I got in the river and I saw these old ladies. They were there, and they were just looking at me and I had no shirt on. I'm sopping wet because I was in the river for a couple
Where
of
were
minutes.
you at?
Cedar River. And
Like at a park?
Yeah, just down at the thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's a walking trail too, So these literal old ladies with 1,000, down jackets on and toboggans, walking around and stuff, looking at me. One goes by me. Was it refreshing? And I said, yes, it felt amazing. It felt awesome. And she just smiled and walked
Oh, that's
on.
lovely.
Yeah, so I don't know
That
why
brings
I'm
me
talking
joy.
about that, but
No, we talked about you starting your car. So
Oh, right.
I'm likening, so foreplay is the metaphoric warming of the engine, right? And if your car, okay, we watch Formula One a lot.
Yeah.
And they need to warm up their tires even. You said yesterday they have tire warmers.
They have electric
They're like-
blankets for their,
Are they really electric?
well, they heat them up, yeah.
Oh. So why does it matter that the tires are warm?
It grips better.
You get the grip. Oh yeah.
They're ready to
It's
go.
actually not what you want. You don't want better grip.
You won't slip.
You Never mind. I'm going to get really off track here. So, but what basically
Slippery.
the warmer the tires are, the faster the car goes, the better it does on the track, all of that stuff. So are you following what I am saying? So
Yes.
like you can't expect your husband to go from 0 to 60 on a cold engine.
How about this?
And so, no, wait. And so if we could introduce foreplay, now I am not saying it's the woman's responsibility. Please hear me out. But it is related to the last week's question where the woman wrote in and said, my husband does this. So that's why I'm answering it that way. But what would it look like if we warmed up our partner's engine or they warmed it up for themselves? I will say it should be a mutual warming.
That's what I was going to say. You can co-create
Warmth.
a sexual experience, right? I mean, obviously.
You can co-create blood
obviously
flow
it's-
to your glands.
Oh, geez. Okay, obviously it's
Your
two
genitalia.
people. Okay, zip it. Obviously,
Genitalia.
I'm going to tell you something.
Genitalia.
Our friend used to had a friend. Her name was Jenna, and Matt would say, "Genitalia, Jenna, tell you what."
Oh God.
You know, hey, Melanie, let me tell you what.
Yeah.
You know,
Jenna
so it's like,
tell you?
Jenna, tell you what. And
That's
she was
awful.
like, "What are you doing?" And she was a youth pastor.
Even
It was
better.
pretty funny.
Keep
but,
on.
okay, think about it this way. Foreplay, ladies need it, right? Ladies are crockpots, men are just
Well,
microwaves
ladies don't
kind of
need
thing.
it. Most women enjoy it.
And this can, two things. Sex is obviously a co-created experience. So if you take your own sexual destiny in your hand, literally,
I have my sexual destiny.
your sexual destiny is at your fingertips. Oh, that's good. Is that true?
It's going to be the name of our book.
Nice.
Anatomy of Us.
Guys, take your sexual destiny in your hand. Women, it's always been at your fingertips. That's good, huh?
Yes.
Okay, anyway, the co-create experience obviously is two people doing it. However, we can have a great sexual experience if you know how we talked about sometimes, like you can be home or I'm out or something, you go, okay, sex.
You get that old-fashioned
You get the
feeling?
old-fashioned feeling, right? And then sometimes it just goes away because we got dishes to wash and kids to
Wash.
No, we don't wash our kids. Kids to yell at is what I was going to say. Kids to misparent. No, I'm just kidding. But what if we both said, hey, got that old-fashioned feeling. Let's both co-create an amazing experience. So
Or-
you're doing foreplay this way, and also you're kind of doing like self-foreplay. Is that a thing?
Yes.
I guess it is for women
Yes.
and guys.
Yes,
But, it's
but I
easier for
want
guys.
to. I want to even rephrase or restate how you said that, because you don't have to start with the old-fashioned feeling and then it goes into foreplay. You can start and
If
decide
someone
that
is listening new, old-fashioned feeling is when you get the zap in your bacon.
your bacon starts.
And if you're
sizzling.
doubly new, bacon is a vagina.
It's technically the labia.
Right. So.
But I do want to really reiterate or state or whatever that you can sizzle your own bacon. You can create that old-fashioned feeling on purpose, with a purpose. So let's say you are a type of the couple that schedules sex and you do this so that you have great sex, you do it on purpose. You're like,
Right.
yeah, we're having sex every Wednesday. And people will be like, well, might not be in the mood on Wednesday. Well, like, what if you bought tickets to go see a play and it's on a Thursday?
What if I had Mariners tickets?
What if you're like, I might not be in the mood for a play on Thursday.
I'm not going to buy tickets a month from now at 12:30 on a Saturday.
Right. What if
Are
I
you
don't
kidding?
want to see that excellent show that day?
No, you look forward to it.
Right.
Your subconscious actually goes to work on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love it when I press click on a show that either I'm going to see by myself or a show that we're going
Mm-hmm. Click
to see
meaning
together.
you buy a ticket.
Right. Click on the ticket. Right. Or a movie is like, click, go into the 5:30 show. We're going to get some dinner afterwards. Click. And I look forward to it.
Right.
And I create some anticipation
Right.
in the experience.
You create
right.
the energy that you want to have around those things.
So scheduling sex is no different.
Right.
And everybody, including me, maybe you, is like, oh man, scheduling sex. I don't know.
I don't have any feelings about it, but I do think it's important
You're an
to
alien.
state I'm what?
An alien.
I'm just very self-controlled. Let's talk about it. But I do think it's really important to make sure that you understand that you can create and produce that old-fashioned feeling on purpose. Now, back to the point that foreplay saves the day and your vag is that we have had a client share with us recently, which I just thought was brilliant. He was like, if my wife lets me know that she's in the mood, the sex goes so much, I would say, faster but better. Like it's not this big, long, drawn out thing because you're not starting a car from cold 30
scratch.
degrees.
Right.
You're actually like you're heating up the engine. And so if you're a couple and the wife or the husband, one of you is saying, sex takes so long, I don't like it, it's uncomfortable, it's painful, it's unpleasant, it takes forever, then that means that on the before sex part of it needs to be worked on. And that's probably just foreplay. Like and so now let's talk about what is foreplay. What is it and how can we do it? It is the fun that comes before sex, the play that comes before sex.
Right.
So
And so just for the guys listening, so a minute ago I was talking about the cold river, right? A cold ass river in April, which it's apparently winter now here in Northwest
it's our
Washington.
second winter. It's what
It's
always
the second
happens.
winter. It's in the 30s and it snowed like, I don't know, 5 times this week already. you get in the river, right? Can you imagine? I can't. Getting out of that river, which guys and women, you know this. This is just like the Jerry Seinfeld episode when Elaine goes, "It shrinks."
It shrinks?
And she's, surprised or something.
How can you walk around with
Right?
that thing? It's a button mushroom. Isn't that what he says?
Yeah, something like that. So after getting out of the river, your junk is about the smallest ever.
It's not trying to hide in your body cavity.
Well, it actually is. It's a very biological response to like, hey, my nuts are freezing. My nuts make sperm. Watch out for those things. Get hot so you don't die. Right? So anyway, imagine that you get out of the river and you come and just lay it down on me. I'm like, this hurts. My nuts are the size of a mustard seed. I don't even know where they are because they're so far up in my body. Right? And your wiener's like a half an inch long kind of thing. It's like, what? No, I can't. I physically can't. And you like rubbing all over it? Hurts.
All I can think of is our dog. Our dogs are so pervy
Our
when
dogs
they're in
hump
heat.
everything for some reason. But anyway, think of it that way. If you've ever gotten in cold water or anything like that, you know it shrivels, blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows that, which is just a biological response.
Right.
I can't even believe I'm talking this way, but it's
No,
hilarious.
it's good. It's perfect.
So just think about it. If your wife was like, what? Just come on. Let's
Come
go.
on. What was
This brings us together.
Right.
You know that I want it, or you know that it helps me out, or XYZ. I'm like, listen,
Lady.
I can't.
Right. I need to
It
warm
hurts.
up. I need to warm up.
I need to warm up. I got to go sit in a jacuzzi.
Ew. That's like, now I just think of like a gross nutsack that's like 1,000 feet long.
Sitting in your own soup. That's gross.
Anyway, that is a great analogy for
It's
it.
an
though.
analogy. So dudes, think of it that way and be like, oh.
Or
that's
ladies.
what
I mean,
it
I
is.
want to really, I think that
Maybe your man needs warming up too. You know what?
that's what we're saying.
So
It's
this
both.
is the truth of anything. If I know that you like something and you just give me a little hint of it, and it could be in sex with whatever, or it could be like, hey, thanks for the meal you cooked. Or like, yeah, I would like to do that. Or thank you for cleaning. Anything. It is such a signal to a man, to a guy. I don't know if it's communication style or whatnot. I don't think it's love language because no. What?
Nothing.
You're saying something.
It's clearly love language. Clearly, you're
okay,
saying
look,
something
look,
I need
how about this?
is
Think
to
about
be
it.
is positive affirmation.
No. It is a signal like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Right? So if you go to an employer and your boss, you want to get feedback. Hey, am I doing the right thing? So this is on the job description, right? So I'm doing the right thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, correct? Oh, I don't know, whatever. And I'm like, is it?
Right.
Kind of thing, right? So if you know that you're going in the right direction, it's like a map.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say, let's
The
think of a
GPS, when the little arrow follows, the lady talks, turn right on the XYZ, and you turn right. And then you get the next direction, therefore you went the right way.
or
so that
if
is a
you turn the
feedback
wrong
loop.
way, it tells you.
Or if you turn the wrong way, right? So that
at the next light.
GPS and having these markers is not a love language, is what I want to express to you. Like, I like words of affirmation and physical touch, but that is not a part of like, hey, if I know I'm doing something right, tell me so I can continue to do that. Because most people in this world like to do a good job. I want to be a good husband to you. I don't want to do what you don't want me to do, right? So when I ask for feedback, when you give me feedback, I'm like, all right, that works. Let's do it more. Whatever it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I still think it's a love language.
Wrong. Incorrect.
Why were we talking about that? Oh,
I don't know.
So one of the things that you said a minute ago was like, men might need foreplay too. That's like literally what I'm saying is that if your husband is giving you a 30-minute pounding, probably you could reduce that time significantly with foreplay. Now, both participants in this sexual relationship can participate in foreplay and be like pivotal in that going well and showing up with ideas. And I have a thought. I think
Did it
that
hurt?
people are yeah, I'm glad that didn't work because you deserved that to look foolish on the show.
All right, go ahead.
I think that couples think they're communicating their needs or thoughts or desires or fears around intimacy, and they're not. I think they're just thinking these thoughts and they're not saying them out loud with real human words. and then nothing happens good. And then a cycle of stupid things continues. So
Is it how my mom tells a story?
It's how your entire
She starts like at the
family-
end of it.
you're a dear relative
Go
of
easy.
yours that I love. I was talking to them and they literally had no context, told me like the end of a story. And I'm like,
Right.
what's the setting? Who are the characters?
I think
Where
that's
am
so
I
funny.
at?
My mom will talk to me. I, talk to her fairly frequently, and she's like, "Yeah." And Sally at school, like down there on the 8th wing, she was talking to Miss JoJo, and I'm like, who are these people?
Right.
What school are you talking about?
Right.
When was this?
I know.
I have no idea what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I have no
And it's
context.
It's hilarious. I'm used to it now. I'm
Well,
just like,
you do
whatever.
it. So you do it. A
I
minute
know
ago,
I
you
do.
said when I click on a show, like that's no one knows what you mean but me because I
Nobody
know
knew what I was thinking in here.
no one knew what was in my mind that I
What?
didn't say. And
Unbelievable.
it's just interesting because I've noticed this with clients and people who write in is that the longer you know someone, when we work with couples and we work with them on their sex and intimacy, which is a thing we do, go to anatomyofus.com/coaching. When we work on intimacy, they will tell us after the fact, well, I was thinking blah, blah, blah. And I didn't do this because they thought blah, blah, blah. And I didn't say that because I felt like blah, blah, blah. So basically, you're telling me you didn't do the right thing. You didn't communicate anything. Oh, and you got a bad result. Surprise, surprise.
Or you didn't say what you wanted.
You didn't say what you wanted. You didn't say what you didn't want. You didn't say how you were feeling or what you were thinking or anything. People don't say anything to each other.
You're like, you people don't say anything?
You people. And
like
so
we're not affected by it?
someone said click on the show
Nice
and
try.
someone else did not.
Nice
But
try.
I do want to communicate this idea that if you are struggling, especially in sex and intimacy, especially in foreplay, especially with like sex just isn't at all anything that I am enjoying, we're struggling with it, but we know it's important. Are you talking about it correctly? Right? And actually, that brings me to my acronym. Is that right? Synonym. Metaphor. Nope. Acronym. I talked about this, I think it was like 2 episodes ago. I can't remember, but I talked about the idea of meet, MEET. And Brooke and Reva are trying to get me to say meet, MEAT.
Right.
Like, like schlong, dong,
Meat.
meat.
It's a penis reference.
A penal reference.
Yes.
But I said, no, it's meet, MEET.
We're above that. We don't joke like
don't-
that on this show.
Sick. You are sick. Anyway, this idea of meeting. So M is the mindset, E is energy, E is engagement, and T is touch. And on here, I wrote orgasm equals mindset, energy, engagement, and touch. And I want to kind of bring all these moving parts together, these different ideas of foreplay, saving your vag, orgasm equaling meat. That sounds funny. And how to actually do all this stuff. Because I think people really, really, really struggle here. And so, again, I'm going to go back to this idea that if we can figure out how to do foreplay well, especially for women, foreplay for the man so that the woman saves her vag. That's what I'm trying to get at. A foreplay for both of us. Because honestly, too, women, if you do foreplay, you're more likely to orgasm as well. So I want to think of it as mind play. How about that? Let's think of it like mind play. Because your brain is your largest sex organ.
Yes, it is.
And this is totally random, but I watched this. There's a sex educator on Instagram, and she was talking about like the sexual cycle, the arousal cycle, and she showed rabbits having sex, and it took like 4 seconds. It was so funny.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, there's this, and that. And then it was like, boom. And the rabbit just like went and like fell over.
Right.
It literally
It fell
went
over?
Yeah. It was on top of the other rabbit, like, rabbit pace pumped for like 2 seconds and then went, and then went, like, it was so funny.
Fell over.
It
That's how
literally
feels
like its
sometimes.
legs like went, and it went, doom. It was really good.
That's pretty funny.
But let's talk about that. Foreplay
Luckily,
being
we're not rabbits.
mind play.
I think they can like have sex 1,000 times.
I think that they can.
second.
That's why there's like 1 million rabbits in the world.
Right.
So what are your thoughts on that idea of foreplay being mind play? I want to talk about that.
Mind play. So it got me thinking, and we talked about this a minute, and you kind of got mad why women have to wear like lingerie and stuff, but they don't. But
I like to be mad.
I know you do. Yes, I know that about you.
Want me to get mad right now?
Doesn't affect me. Go ahead. I am fully differentiated. I can deal with anything you throw at me.
Keep talking.
Well, my son is calling me, so you keep talking and tell me what's up. Okay, I just texted him that I can't talk right now because I'm doing a world famous podcast. Anyway, that got me to thinking about foreplay. No, why women wear lingerie and stuff, and perhaps it is foreplay for the woman to start feeling sexy. It's not just like trying to be a show for the guy all the time. Yeah, is it? I'm asking, like,
for them to feel what?
Sexy, be in the right mindset. So mindset, energy, engagement, touch. Like if you're wearing lingerie, I would assume there's a different energy. Just like if I'm wearing hunting pants, fixing to go to the woods, there's a different mindset. There's a different energy around that.
Yeah, but it's not universally the same all the time every day.
Right.
I mean, what if I said, Seth, put on some hunting pants and work? And you'd be like, I wasn't going to do that. Would it make you feel sexy to put your hunting pants on?
No.
So it's
not
just
all
like
the time.
that. It's not, it's, I think where I think there's a lot of confusion with intimacy and sex in general is that it feels to me like men see it as a static thing and women know that it is dynamic. We know because our bodies are changing all the time. Literally, like the moon changes what our bodies do. They have cycles within themselves that we have no control over. So we are acutely aware of the constant shifting of everything. And I think that men don't have any frame of reference for that. And so they don't think of it as being dynamic. They're like, well, lingerie worked once, put that on again. And I feel like that's really how it feels.
Right.
And women are like, can't you see that this is complex and like it changes and shifts, and it changes after you have kids? That doesn't mean bad. It's just different. And it changes when you're, like hormones change. Like I think that there would be a lot of goodness at the world if you and men could understand that at one point in my life, maybe lingerie does make me feel sexy, but at another point, it actually might make me feel bad. And there are women who say that, like, my husband just wants me to put, like, I remember someone saying, I can't remember who it was, but they were like, yeah, my husband will like lay out lingerie for me. And she's like, it makes me want to kill him. That's the last thing I want him to do.
I think I did that a long time ago too.
Probably.
Nice try.
But it's not always bad though. At some point it probably was fun, but then later it's not.
We just changed. Right.
Just like
dynamic.
eating candy bars was cool when you were like 15, and now you're like, how the hell did I eat these all
When
the
I was in
time?
graduate school, I remember I would drink a giant Coke and a giant Snickers bar like on the way home from
in
class.
graduate school?
Yeah, like not super long ago, but it was like at 10:30 at night when I would come home. I'd be like, oh, I need to drive home, so I better eat and drink all this sugar. And then I could go to bed.
Jeez,
But if I did that, I would just barf.
Weird.
So yes, it is dynamic.
Yeah. And I think that, I don't know, I think that plays into the concept of what people think foreplay is. Again, it is a brain thing. It's not, I think oftentimes people see it and think of like, this is a funny thought. The first thing that came to my mind was Lost. Like, what's that guy? Sawyer.
Right.
And like anybody. Sawyer's like sleazy, like, hey, sugar, what you doing on these spots? He's just like this gross, whatever. And I think that that's what people think foreplay is. It's like touching, greasy. It's like that. What do you think foreplay is? What do you think it means when someone says, oh, do foreplay?
Well.
Or what did like Coke drinking, Snickers eating you think foreplay was?
Just kind of like flirting and touching.
Touching. Right.
Right.
Touching what?
Saying what your butt and boobs and stuff like that.
Oh. I'm already mad. So what is this? This is foreplay. Honk, honk, honk. La, 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 la. I love that. I want to touch these. That's foreplay? Is that what that is? That's deeply unsexy.
No, that's not that. Well, how about this? I think at one time it was. Right? Like a long time ago.
Maybe for you.
A long time ago. Correct.
But I'm just...
So, you asked me, what is it now?
No. Now it's nothing. But I want to ask you what you think. The volume's down. You can't screw with that so much and then you don't know how to use it. So that's what I'm trying to get at is what do you think most people think foreplay? Like if I called your friends and said, hey, Matt, what do you think foreplay is? Now that'd be funny. Hey, Gabe, Paul. Yeah, well, Paul probably knows. Paul's on it, man.
Yeah, he's on it.
He's on it like a Jane Austen bonnet. But who else would know? Nobody.
Well, that'd be a good poll, actually. If you're my friend, write in the show, and if you listen. I don't know what you're asking. Like, I know what it is now, I think.
Okay, let's hear it. I'm excited to hear this. It's going to be new information.
Oh, boy. It is doing things for you.
I'll take notes.
You'll take notes? Oh, boy. Hey, when I do these things, like, get horny, okay? Doing things for you. Service. Acts of service, right? Taking care of shit around the house. Did I just spit on you?
No, my hair was stuck to the...
Acknowledging you, appreciating you in what you do. Like, not so much complimenting, but letting you know that I'm aware of like how hard you work. I appreciate you and stuff like that. And also sometimes a little flirty stuff because that's work too.
That's really funny.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Damn it.
Hold on, my shoe fell off. It's falling off my foot.
Okay, tell all our friends what foreplay is to you then.
Oh, what I would love it to be is like, so you just said, I acknowledge how hard you work.
Well, it's not like, hey, you work hard.
Keep
Thanks.
doing it.
No, not like that. It's like,
well, that's kind of how it feels.
Well,
it's
I would
like,
be more
oh,
poetic.
you're drowning in laundry. I love that. You're really strong. Like that is how it feels. Not even joking.
It's more specific than that.
Well, I would love it to look like, so almost like the last episode, the 30-minute pounding. Like sometimes our intimacy or sexual interactions are longer than they should be because there isn't foreplay.
Right.
Right. So I shouldn't say should. There's not like a should there.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
But I think, I work harder than pretty much anyone I know. I work all day long. I work constantly. I have to make it a point to not work. Like I have to stop unintentionally and sit down and watch my favorite show, Forged in Fire. This challenge is over.
Hopefully your marriage isn't over.
What did I remember the other day we were arguing and I said, this conversation is over. It was really funny and it worked.
Should be a soundbite.
But what I would love to have happen is you see how hard I'm working. Like
Yes.
you see like, oh, the kids never stop talking to you. Oh, you actually haven't had a break since, I don't know, COVID started 2 years ago. Oh, you haven't gone on any Alaska trips or Nashville trips or spa trips or anything. Oh, I see that you're like staying up till 1 to make our content for the podcast. Like I acknowledge that. In turn, as a show of kindness, I will do something actually special for you, not just go like, thumbs up,
Right.
keep like working yourself to the bone. Hey, you know.
So, but you don't like surprises.
I wasn't done. Another phone. Do you need to get that?
No.
So then it would be, I acknowledge that you work really hard. So it doesn't need to be a surprise. It could be once a month, I am paying for you to go to a spa, or once a month, I'm paying for you to get your nails done or do whatever you want. Or
You
I
would
don't
like
know.
that.
Yeah, that would feel great. And then also to be like, hey, I want you to sit here and watch Forged in Fire. I will fold the laundry by myself and I will actually put it in this thing called a dresser. It has drawers.
I don't think we
And it
own-
holds socks.
No, we don't
and
own
things
those.
like
We
that.
don't.
Yeah, we don't own 5 of them. So things like that, where it's like you're showing up like as an act of love, not just like
Right.
fine, I'll put the laundry away, or I won't even put the laundry away. I'll just thumbs up the fact that you're putting it away.
Why can't couples have a conversation like we just had?
We just had it.
No, literally. You just said, hey, foreplay is this, right? And there is no reason in hell that I can't say, oh, yeah, I hear you. And since we recorded it, I will listen back and make notes and do these things for you because I love you and whatever, right? And all that jazz. And here's what I want. I want to be able to go whatever with my friends.
What does whatever with my friends mean?
I don't know, hunting
Marie.
or golf or something. You better watch out. My mom
I
listens.
wanna,
She's going to get mad at you.
You know.
You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
So
You do those
You
things.
just told but I'm saying the nature of this whole conversation. You just said, "Hey, Seth, this is what I will say to you.
Say to you this, I will.
Foreplay is all this stuff for me. This is what I want." So I'm like, "Oh shit, okay. Nails, Botox, a massage, a spa, a date night weekly."
Yeah, where you don't invite the kids. When
Where
I tell you I don't want
where
the
the
kids
kids
to go.
don't go.
I'm mad about that still.
Hey, I just bought you I got you a $200 Target card here.
Well, I didn't want a $200 Target card.
Oh, bullshit! If
I don't
got
want a
you
Target
that,
card now.
if I got you that, you'd be like,
I would go buy things for the children.
okay, so you can do what you want to with it. But
I don't want to buy clothes at Target anymore. I'm not 16.
if I gave you a mall credit card and you could go to whatever store you wanted to, you'd be like, oh, sweet, that's what's up. Thank you,
Yes.
right? So you just told me all the stuff you like, right? And I didn't hear it go, well, what are you talking about? I always do that. Don't you know I make all the damn money? Whoa.
Right.
Right? I'm just not weird about it, right? Maybe, well, geez, okay, let's get real. There was definitely a long time when we couldn't have conversations like this, right?
Because of me? What are you saying?
Because of both of us.
Right,
We
yeah.
were both nuts or caught up in our own stuff, right? And in the same way, I could say, hey, these things are super important to me. I want to have family dinners. I would love to have a goal of like being intimate twice a week or whatever works for whoever. And I want to have a quitting time at 9:00 and sit down, at least watch a show, read together or whatnot. That's important to me. Would you be like, well, if you weren't such a douche, then yeah, we could do those and it's all your fault. Blah, blah, blah. No, I can tell you those things and you go, mental note. Okay, that is good. Got it. Because guess what? If it's good for you, and I mean like real good, not like, ooh, this is my favorite wine, I'm gonna drink a bottle every night.
Right.
That's not good. If it's literally good for you, who else is it good for? Me and the kids, right? And if these things that I mentioned, my wants and desires and all this stuff and preferences, if it's good for me in a good balanced way,
Yeah.
guess who it's good for? You.
Yes.
Because I come home to you, I talk to you, I love you, I provide for you, and who else benefits from that? The kids. And guess what? If you're really thinking in a wise way, your grandkids,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In Indian country, it talks about like 7 generations back. I was taught 3 back and then 3 forward, right? So you're the middle kind of thing. But think about it that way. Are you kidding me?
Right. And
So
it's
why can't people talk this way and get their head out of their ass and not be stupid idiots? And if this is you, go, why can't I do that?
Right.
I'm disgusted.
I'll tell you.
Right? But sorry, you can. What is that? For some reason, I'm thinking of a Bible verse. Like Paul talks about like he's the worst of the sinners and all this stuff. And if he can do all this and now like write a book in the Bible, then okay, of course you can. Or something like that. I don't know, something. But if we were the biggest idiots ever, I was I still am, a marriage and family therapist getting black eyes and fighting 24/7 and just being idiotic, then you guys can do it too. I don't know what else to say.
Right.
It's like your dad says, like if, sometimes you see or hear things that you cannot see or unsee, right? It's like, maybe it's something traumatic or maybe it's something like this piece of wisdom, like say like, this happened to both of us actually. When you were reading Eckhart Tolle, you were walking down the thing and you just left this planet for a minute. Remember that?
That was the weirdest thing ever.
And you just had this crazy you're like,
I was
okay.
like, I don't want to do that again. I didn't mean to.
I am not on drugs. I
Yeah.
am not anything. I was exercising, breathing fresh air, and I just lost my brain.
I teleported.
Right. So is that something that you're going to forget?
No.
Are you going to be like, amazing life experience. Let's just go see what the bullshit drama is on Housewives of Atlanta and go rack up credit card debt.
Right.
No, you don't do those things. If you do, then that is all on you.
Yeah, you're lying to
It is
yourself.
all on you, right? So there have been things that we have seen that we cannot unsee, right? Ways that we were, tastes of like how fucking amazing it can be. And like, what if we both went back to just like that? Like, hey, I'm gonna get a job, just a 40-hour a week job. you can stay home and be whatever you want to. And we'll just mostly watch TV and maybe go to the ocean with your parents.
Yeah.
Which is the worst vacation ever. And that's just going to be our life.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do that. Or we can have rental properties. We can be high performance marriage coaches. We can have residual income for life.
Mm-hmm.
We can make products that help millions of people, have the number 1 rated podcast, and travel whenever we want to.
Right.
How hard is that?
It's not. It's just a choice.
Yes.
And that's where I think what you're saying.
Back to orgasms.
You're saying, like, how come people can't have these conversations? And I think
sick of everything.
one of the
I'm just
main
kidding, I'm not.
reasons is that I think people aren't, like I said in the beginning, people actually aren't talking to each other about these things.
Mm-hmm.
They're not talking about, most importantly, they're not talking about in a proactive and kind and loving way what they want to see from themselves, from each other, from their relationship, especially as it pertains to sex, because they're nervous.
Can I go on another tangent?
Okay. I'm here for it.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the deal.
Lay it on me.
This is a podcast within a podcast. Okay. This is content for days, right? So you guys know we've done things like 75 Hard, right? And the last round of 75 Hard I did, the one I'm completed, I was just kicking ass on fire. And I talked to my good buddy, Paul. He wasn't doing it at the time. And I was just like, okay, back the fuck out of the way. I am like a rocket ship going right now. And I was talking to Paul. I was like, hey man, what are you doing? What's going on this? What's this? And he asked me a question. He said, if you weren't on 75 Hard, would you be asking me these questions? And I never thought about it that way. And the answer was no. I wouldn't care what you were doing or not doing. Hey, let's go get a beer. Let's do this. Let's eat shit and get fat together. I'm serious, right? Know. And his question made me really think. Like when you're in it, when you're in the zone of something, then this is a snowball effect that you just want more of. Like I listen to Andy Frisella and other guys, David Goggins and stuff like that. And Jocko Willing. And when they're in it, they just create more kick-ass content that just goes and goes and goes. And it is exponentially, it's like a neutron star or something. Like it blows up and it just keeps on expanding, right? Everyone in the world has the potential to do that. And so this morning, went to the gym, got an amazing workout, and then got in the river. Do you know the difference that makes, right?
I do.
It makes the biggest difference in the world. And if couples, first of all, individuals, but if couples can get on like this train of total expansion, it's like it never stops unless you want it to.
Right.
But guess what? You don't want it to because you just want more and more
Let
and
me
more.
go on a tangent for a
hold
second.
on, not in a bad way. I'm not like a greedy MFer out here going, oh yeah, I got to get this and this. No, living this way is a billion times better than living that way. Now, am I perfect? No. Am I saying, okay, yeah, take a break? Yeah, everybody has to take a break, right? Things aren't sustainable ad infinitum, right? Otherwise, they just, they're not sustainable, right? But the potential that we all have to do stuff like this is unlimited. There is no limit. Like Wayne Dyer, no limit living, right?
I love Wayne Dyer.
I know, he's amazing. Thank you, Wayne Dyer. If you're listening right now, we love you. You're awesome. There is no limit. There is no limit to the good you can create. There is no limit to the good you can receive. So
there's also no limit to the torture you can create.
There's no limit to the bullshit that you can tell yourself day in, day out, and day out. There is a limit, right? Because like Jordan Peterson is like, yeah, that system implodes.
Oh, yeah.
That system has a terminus. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like there is an end of the line there.
I didn't know terminus was a word.
Yes.
Now I know it. Is that a phone that you need to pick up?
No.
I want to add on to the add-on that you've added on.
Go on a tangent.
Because I think something that really bothers me that...
Tangier. We've been there in Morocco. Why? No limit life, bitch.
I'm the head bitch in charge. Will you get my shoe? It fell again.
HBSE?
Okay,
sorry. I'm not going to talk. Go.
No, the thing that I think is so amazing about what you're saying is that and there have been studies about this, that the health and wellness of your marriage, your primary relationship, is an indicator of success, like in all other areas. And so if you have a bad marriage, mostly you're going to have a lot of other bad things going on. Anything from parenting to job success to just how you feel, right? And so at the end of the day, the one thing I think couples should work on is their marriage. Like if there's a trauma that one of you has, yes, work on that. Go to get therapy for that thing and work through that. But if you're sort of starting at a place of like, mostly I'm okay, I have stuff to deal with, whatever, and you're like, what would be the most healthy next step? It would be work on your marriage as if it would save your life, because it will. It will transform your whole life, not just your marriage. It'll transform your entire life. Like when you work on your marriage, you work on relationship and conversation and communication and casting a vision and all of that stuff. You show up for yourself differently.
When you work on your marriage with us, because that's stuff that we talk about, casting a vision, a shared vision, an individual vision. Where do you see yourself at the end of 90 days, 6 months, 1 year, 5 year, 10 years? Where do you see yourself? If you do what you're doing right now for one more second, if you do that every day and replicate it, are you going to be in a different spot literally 90 days from now? And a lot of people that come to us go, oh shit.
No, it's going to be worse.
We won't. It'll be worse. So that's why we want to do coaching. So
right. And I mean, all of this to say, what I was mad about is what I'm saying is so annoying to me is that marriage resources are viewed as just like the dumbest thing ever. Like, oh, a marriage book? No, thanks. And mostly by men. And that's what's really challenging for me is that you have all these women trying to buy these things and, oh, I got this fun book for us to do whatever. And women are writing these books and trying to help men and women understand that if you can harness this stuff together, you become unstoppable in like 9 million ways. But not if you think marriage resources are for idiots. Not if you think marriage coaching is for ding-dongs. Or like, oh, well, weak people do that. Or that's for people who just can't get their stuff together. I'm fine. I don't need coaching. I don't need therapy. I don't need that marriage book. I'll just whatever. Like even you've said, like I would never do that relationship planner that you have the idea for. You said that to me like 2 nights ago.
I'm cool and a lot of the stuff out there is lame. Not your stuff.
Yeah. So hear how silly that is though, because then you can't grow. Anyway, Foreplay saves the day and your vag.
Okay. Yeah. Let's tie back up to the Foreplay thing. Like, so hold on. Before I do that, I love it when I get, it's not like a tangent or anything, but I heated. Because that is really, I think, I don't know. It's easy for me to talk that way because, I don't know. I've been on both sides of it, and I've been with 1,000 million people that have been on both sides of it. A lot of them got out of it to maybe like where we are today, and a lot of them haven't. And mainly that's the folks that I'm talking to. It's like, it's here. It's on the table. Take it. It is literally in front of you. You have working arms. Take it.
Right.
Work for it. Fight for it. Scratch for it. Kick your own ass for it. Because it's there. You think it's not good? You think it's not worth it? What's wrong with you?
Okay. And Foreplay saves the day and your vag.
Okay, anyway, back to Foreplay. How important is it? It's very important.
Right. And I'm going to sort of wrap it into the greater conversation that we're having. It's like, if you have this like tiny limited perspective of what Foreplay can be, then of course you're going to think, oh, well, Foreplay, that's weird. That's hard. I don't know how to do that. Ugh. But if you can expand your mind around what that might look like for your particular marriage and then say, is it worth taking the extra 30 minutes to do this like intentional connecting so that I can have better sex with my partner so that they can feel more fulfilled, then I can feel more fulfilled. And then like, what is the compound effect of that over time, right? It's massive. You can't even calculate how healthy and good and loving and wonderful that is and what greatness will come from that. The simple act of being like, is it worth it to figure out what Foreplay looks like for us? So I don't even think I finished what I was saying when I was saying what I would want for Foreplay.
Okay.
Like I would want you to really acknowledge the things that I do, but then step in and help.
Right.
Like if you were saying, let's say we scheduled sex on Wednesdays, which we don't, but let's say that we did. And you were like, on Wednesdays, you come in and save the day. You're like, I am going to do the dishes. I'm going to do the whatever. I'm going to clean the house like to your specifications. There's not going to be a garbage full anywhere. There's all going to be taken out. The dogs are going to be fed. Like you do that as an act of service to me. And then we sit on the couch and maybe I drink wine while we watch Forged in Fire or something. And like, we know like you're treating me. You're
and then we're touching close.
Yeah.
together.
Like we're holding hands. We're sitting there and whatever. And even just that tiny, I mean, it's not a tiny amount of work on your side, but I don't even give two shits. I do it all the time. But like, if you came in and that was the energy, like I am doing this because I love you and I want you to be relaxed and I want you to feel really loved, and you like exude that energy, not touch my butt. That isn't what I...
Or not clean out of spite, or like, okay, let me just wash this damn dish so I can like get in your pants or something like that, right?
Yes. Like,
so that is for you. So guys, men, don't hear that and go, I'll clean the house and I don't know, it didn't work.
Right.
It's like, that's particular to a person. Maybe to your wife, maybe not.
Well, ask your wife, right? I also would say too, there's an element of education / conversation that I'm always trying to have with you, especially when we watch TV and you just are like silent. And I'm like, oh, what's that thing? And I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So like that could be a potential area where like if you actually responded to me like a human would do, we could have a humanoid conversation, and that might feel
you're juicing
good.
it up. What are you talking about?
Like when we watched Forged in Fire.
I talked to you during Forged in Fire.
No, like, yes, you will say curt one-word answers. Thank you.
Oh, I see.
Thank you for your attunement.
So you want to elaborate. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you know, converse. Yeah. That.
Caveat, that gets on my nerves because we're watching a show and then I can't listen to it. And then you and the kids talk throughout it all. And I'm like, you know what we should do? We should get headphones.
I've talked about that for a million years, but...
like in a helicopter.
with the speed. That's really funny. So, but I really do want to expand on that for like a second, because like in what is it? The Lost City, she says she's a sapiosexual. I about fell out of my seat when she said that. That was so funny. But there is an element of that. Like if you talked to me about what, like a Jordan Peterson book or some, I mean, anything, I swear you don't tell me anything. Like I'll show you a thing, a news thing, and you'll be like, oh yeah, I saw that. Oh yeah, I saw that. I'm like, hey, how about you effing share something with me once in your life? Because it's about
relationship.
Yeah, and you don't do that to me ever. And that would be really exciting.
That's not true, listeners.
And engaging and foreplayedness. Okay. And so
that's good.
I want you to think of expanding your understanding of foreplay, what it looks like for your partner, what it looks like for you. It's not touching and like honking different body parts and kissing. That's not foreplay. That's like a very late stage.
That's afterplay.
I don't know. But it isn't foreplay.
It's play.
And again, the main objective here is this a it's like a reciprocating wellness cycle. If you can integrate foreplay, then your sex will be better and more comfortable. It won't be 30 minutes of pounding, the like starting it from a cold engine. And then that will fuel this, I feel fulfilled because now sex is actually in a timeline that's okay for me. I feel really good. Like it's it's positive. It's like a positive wellness cycle, right? But if we don't take the 4 minutes that it takes to actually ask ourselves, do I know what foreplay is? Am I doing this right? Am I even trying? Have I even thought about it?
What if husbands asked in just a normal way? It's like, hey, I listen to this podcast and I'm very curious. Maybe you can write it down, whatever. We can have a long conversation about it. What is foreplay to you, my dear? Boom. Well, I don't know.
Right. Well,
never even touched my vagina before, so I don't know. Well, you got some work to do.
Well, why is it you shamed? You shamed a lot just now. But I do think that if you do want to have this conversation, be cautious and careful and loving and extra, extra kind, because especially if you're talking to your wife about this for the first time, she probably has a lot of hurt around it because there is this huge assumption that, oh, well, foreplay, put this thing on from Victoria's Secret that scratches your butt crack. Like, that's not sexy for some people. And it's hurtful when there's this like performative thing there, because men do zero to turn women on typically. Like you have no work to do.
But they're going to listen to this podcast and change that. So again, this is a Patreon free episode. If you want more of stuff like this, what do they do?
If you hear last week's conversation, go to patreon.com/us. Nope. Anatomy of Us?
Anatomy
Yeah.
of Us. Yes. Patreon.com/Anatomy of Us. Thank you very much. If anything, ask your wife what foreplay is to her, right?
And it
Wives,
goes both
ask
ways.
your husband
Yeah,
too.
it goes
Hey, what
both
is
ways.
foreplay to you? Like if you ask me, I'm like, flirting? Like tell me that you're thinking about sex later. Like in a couple episodes we did, I'm like, if you said, hey, I got that old fashioned feeling, if I was meeting with the president or the Pope or the Dalai Lama, I'd be like, yo, DL, I gots to go.
Okay.
I'm serious.
You would call the Dalai Lama DL.
Yeah, we're friends
Yo,
on
deets.
a spiritual level. Anyway, patreon.com/Anatomy of Us if you want more stuff like this. And also, if this kind of rang your bell around coaching, then give me a call. Sign up for a time. We'll get on a call. We'll see how coaching can change your life within 90 days. It's an investment of time and money, yes, but anything worth having is worth time and worth money. So check it out. Email us with any of your questions. hello@anatomyofmarriage.com. We love you guys. Hopefully this has been helpful. Anything else to say?
No, we love you.
All right. Peace out.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Anatomy of Us. This podcast is produced by my mom, Melanie Studley, and hosted by my dad, Seth Studley. Our show is edited and published by our producer, Reba Hansen, from Creative Media Support. Special thanks to our Patreon members that get an extra episode every week. Thanks for watching. Love you. Bye.